Okay.
So I'm going to turn my video off. I'm gone. So I will, I'll pipe in if any questions come up. Do you want me to text you if I'm not seeing any questions? I mean, like hit you on
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll do the same. I'll kind of I'll chat you on Teams. Does that work?
No, send me a text message.
Send you a text.
I can't. Okay. I'm sharing my screen, so.
Gotcha, but you can have your phone right near you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I will. I'll kind of keep you updated.
Sounds good.
Cool. Have fun. See you on the other side.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today in this exciting webcast series, interactive demo. We got 30 minutes, lots of ground to cover. I see a bunch of people are still joining, so I'm going to get started, and I promise you, you're not going to miss anything. So topic today is going to be cost-based quoting analytics, and we're going to be talking about what the definition is of cost-based quoting, what the process of cost-based quoting looks like, what kind of analytical insights people get from exercising the process of cost-based quoting. And we're going to be also jumping into a live demo to show you some real-world examples of how customers get value out of exercising this cost-based quoting processes. All right, to get started, just a little introduction. So my name is Adrian Gruchowski. I'm part of the sales and solution team at 3C Software. Just a brief high-level description about 3C Software. We are product cost and profitability modeling experts and pioneers. We are also, over the years of 31 years of existence, have invented a piece of software which name is ImpactECS. And ImpactECS basically does three things. We connect data from disparate systems that are cost or profitability relevant. We calculate accurate results in a very high performance manner, and then provide you and your company more meaningful insights, enabling a more data-driven approach to making decisions and becoming more proactive in your decision making. All right, let's talk about cost-based quoting. Cost-based quoting basically can originate from various places. Two of them that I have listed here on the right side of this slide. So first of all, being a new product that does not exist today, but might be going through an R&D process or continuous improvement process. So a new product that your customer requires you to develop, or you think you are inventing a new product. All right, that's option number one. And option number two is you have a new quote that you are being requested to calculate and provide some insights to from your customers or existing customers, new customers, you name it, right? But it is something that it does not exist in your transactional world today. And basically what it is that we transform a set of requests with a set of attributes that is requested. Here's what this product needs to be doing. Here's what the characteristics this product needs to have. And then we combine it with all this cost data that you have in your disparate systems, such as your BOMs, routings, raw material prices, volumes, mix, machine data, you name it, and then calculate cost answers for these specific scenarios, right? Now, just a very quick differentiation. This is not a CPQ application, right? CPQ is when you have something that is configured, you have a price list, and then you basically put together a bunch of options that you can choose from, and then add it all up, and that the summary of that provides you some cost and a price with some type of margin on top of it, right? Now, when we talk about cost-based quoting, it is not just a configuration of something that's existing or options. Instead, we calculate very unique cost for something that currently does not exist or has certain attributes that do not exist in your in your current SKU world that you have today, right? Hope that makes sense. Just a little differentiator, right? Now, how does cost-based quoting add value? Here's how this provides a return of investment, right? Just a couple of examples. One example, this is what we put together from our customers that we have today, right? One of them being having a more pricing discipline or margin management. So if you would improve 1% the process from being more consistent, being more transparent in the way you calculate your costs, calculate your profitability, and having that across multiple locations throughout the world, etc. So if you would improve 1%, so this was the value that one of our customers gave us, right? Another area of an ROI is this quote inquiry to close cycle, right? So the faster you can do it, the more quotes you can process. So if you increase it, the more capacity your people have to do it. They don't spend time pushing data from left to right, copy and pasting between Excel spreadsheets, but really spend the time on the more valuable part of costing, meaning analyzing it, coming up with an accurate cost and accurate profitability. So that could be an increase in speed, freeing up some capacity to process more quotes. And then, of course, is error rate reduction, right? Thousands of Excel spreadsheets flying around. So if you would reduce 1% of your errors from eliminating all this manual processes, right? This is just a figure that one of our customers gave us, right? So again, this is just something for you to think about. What kind of percentage would you expect from a cost-based quoting tool in some of these areas, right? Now, let's talk about the cost-based quoting process. So if you go from left to right, so this is, you start with gathering a new request. This, again, can be something that doesn't exist yet and it's part of your invention efforts, or it can be something that your customer asked to be quoted at. You gather a new request. That means you collect data in terms of attributes and characteristics of a product that you are planning to manufacture. After that, you match that with your transactional data that you have today or your master data that you have today in terms of, does this match already an existing product that I have today in terms of my routing, my bill of material, my volume mix out there, my machines that are out there, right? You name it, right? So the key is gather information, combine it with already existing data that you have today, then moving on to the next step, calculate accurate cost, have an environment to play around with and make some more modifications, applying a margin to establish a competitive price, and then delivering results for key decision makers who, should we take this on, this business, is this a strategic initiative where we're okay with maybe just 18% profit margin? Usually our guideline is 22%, right? All these kind of analytical exercises are then the result of the prior activities you see here. Of course, in this process that you see here, there's a bunch of things to consider. First of all, there's a multiple amount of stakeholders, such as engineering, costing teams, accounting teams, R&D teams, quality teams, sales teams, right? Some director, VP, C-level executives that are, everybody plays a part in this, and it's very important to have a platform to facilitate this collaboration process as well, right? Now let's talk about data. Data in this chain or process chain that you see here plays a very, very important role, because what a lot of companies that we talk to have today is they have all the data that they need to calculate costs, but it resides in very disparate systems that they have currently. Some data might be in an MES system, some data might be in an ERP system, some data might be just flying around in an Excel spreadsheet. So bringing all the data together to one place, harmonizing it, making sense of it, is a very, very valuable output. And then, of course, evaluation activities, and what we mean by that is there's bunch of processes and workflows that go on while moving through this chain, and you need to be able to remain oversight and see, okay, where are my requests? Why are they being stuck? Are they aging somewhere where they're not supposed to be aging? Where's the holdup? How can we move things quicker? Right. Now, meanwhile, in real life, this is really what happens when we talk about a cost-based quoting process, right? There is a new request, then we match it up with existing BOM routing attribute data, and then somebody comes and, well, I need to make a change to this request, and then we need to go back through it again, and then we calculate the cost, we establish a price, and somebody said, no, that's not really right, let's make a modification to it, so we're back to collecting BOM and routing attribute data. So this is what happens in real life, right? There has to be a process that facilitates the back and forth between the input of the stakeholders, such as quality engineering, shop floor, you name it, right? And your costing system for this specific quoting request, right? So it's very important to have functionalities in place, such as different versions to compare against. It's very important to have functionalities such as overriding things for a specific product, for a specific customer, right? And so these are all the things that when you have a quoting process that is facilitated in an Excel world or another CPQ tool, these are functionalities that do not come with these kind of systems, right? And this is how ImpactECS differentiates itself. So integrating system, the data, integrating the process and business flows is a very, very important one. So we want to take the new request information. We want to take all this existing data from that we have today from transactional systems, such as BOMs, routing attributes, and other data sources such as pricing tables, capacity numbers, statistics, and then put it all in this integrated cost and profit modeling platform, ImpactECS, to then do these kind of analytical activities, such as calculating in an accurate manner your product cost, applying some profit margin so we can see my cost and profits that I'm expecting, and then putting it all in a fashion to make strategic decisions. All right, sounds very simple. I'm fully aware that it's not that simple. All right, having said that, let's look at some cost-based quoting examples, how to look in the real world. So I'm going to open up ImpactECS, and what we seeing right now is a quote management user experience that we have. So I'm in the home screen right now. So I'm going to pretend my home location is Wrightstown. Based on my user profile, those things can be auto-filled directly. But what I see here is a little overview that says, okay, how many new quotes did I have coming in today? How many active quotes am I working on right now? And how many open quotes are due this week, right? Just a quick statistics, just to give you an idea, okay, where are we? What's my load right now that I have, right? On the bottom part of the screen, I also see a little bit of a collaboration mechanism that this customer uses. For example, I want to send a message to a certain recipient and attach a certain quote. I have a question for engineering. I have a question for quality. I have a question to the shop floor. Hey, can I really run at that speed with these attributes at this width, right? So all these kind of things make it easy to from one platform to control these and facilitate it, right? So before I jump into these quotes, I want to talk about data again, right? So when I click on this little button here, manage data, I want to show you guys the heart of really the calculating the cost, right? And when we want to calculate cost, we need some data that comes from your ERP system, shop floor system, etc., that we need to link up with ImpactECS to then match up with your request to calculate these results, right? So in example, I have a machine master table. If I open this, I'm going to see a bunch of machines that are available at this location, and they have an ID, they have certain attributes, they have a run rate, they have a cost associated with it, et cetera, et cetera. You know, everything that you would expect from a machine rate. Now, this data does not come just magically into our system. This is part of our toolset that we have where we integrate these kind of tables and data in a consistent manner from your ERP system, from your shop floor information systems, right? Other things such as, you know, I have different types of films, right? I might get that from a purchasing system where we have certain prices that are tied to a specific location, to a specific vendor, all these kind of things. This will enable me to stay up to date in calculating my most accurate cost when we get this request in, right? So very important, there is a data management part of it, and just know that ImpactECS is uniquely qualified of automating this entire process with all the inputs that you need to calculate costs, right? And then there's a bunch of other things that you would expect from an enterprise class costing system, such as, now I want to manage some groups, I want to manage some users, give them certain permissions, schedule some tasks, for example, update my prices every night that I have for my films, but my machines are not updated that regularly, so I'll just do it once a week, for example, right? So I can have some scheduled tasks around here, and then I have some simulation and reporting activities that I can also perform once I have done or created some of these quotes, right? So let's jump back to our home button and open up what we call a quote status dashboard right here. So when I click this little button, quote status report, it opens up a dashboard, and this dashboard gives us a little bit of an overview of what people are working on right now. So I have a couple of quote managers right now. I have some customers that requested some stuff. I have my locations that I have. And here I have a quick overview of how many quotes are being active, how many are in commercial review, how many have I completed the pricing. There's some that are on hold because they are awaiting some operational input. And then here's some that are just unsubmitted for a reason of haven't been reviewed by the person who needs to release them, et cetera, right? But this just gives you a little bit of an overview. And then on the bottom, what we see here, we see a bunch of quotes, when they were established, what the status is, just a little bit of a description, some notes, et cetera, right? So what I would like to do now is jump into one of these quote objects, or what we call ImpactECS a cost object, right? So if I double click on one of these here, I jumped into this quote item, and this quote item has a description, it has a quote number that was assigned, it has some names here, was prepared by, here's the sales rep, here's a product development name. You know, there might also be some quantity order breaks. They say, the customer say, I want to order, if I order 1,000 units, what is going to be my price? If I order 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, what is going to be my price, right? Just a little bit, see if they can gain some economy of scale effects. There's also some other information that you see here. For example, what is my annual quantity that was requested? What is this going to be held in inventory? Should I include freight in this quote? Yes or no? How many miles do I have to my destination? Et cetera, right? So what we see is just a couple of attribute and characteristic data of this specific quote object. So when I have on the bottom now, once we've seen these characteristics, I see based on these characteristics of the product, this is the routing that ImpactECS intelligently picked out that I have to go through in order to manufacture this product, meaning I need to go through a printing, laminating, and rewinding process. These processes have assigned a machine name to it, such as a press one, a laminator, or a rewinder, right? And these machines have certain attributes and processing statistics that run through and calculate cost. For example, my run speed, my waste percentages, my trim per side, my repeat length, wraps, etc. Right? All these kind of manufacturing attributes that I have and that at the end result in calculating cost. What's very unique about this, these were picked out by ImpactECS. Now, if a quality department comes in and says, okay, well, this machine has some maintenance issues right now, I can easily overwrite these, right? I can pick a different machine, sometimes even from a different location. So this is very, very flexible in the way you do it. So intelligently, based on attributes, pick out my cost optimal routing that I have. I can override some speed because I know, well, if I right now I can't run this speed on this particular machine, right? So here's all these yellow fields that you see in here. I'm able to override and recalculate my cost dynamically, right? Very uniquely, also what I can do, what if I want to, if I need to change some cost or some attribute data specifically for this machine based on this order, right? So I can click into this object of the press. It now modifies specifically for this quote my my statistics. For example, here's my plate costs that I have. Here are my ink costs that I'm associating with it, and maybe I have a more colors or special colors that I order, and I need to modify my ink costs. Or I have my process costs that I have processing it. You know, or here's just a little summary. Okay, and what is my full capacity cost? What is my my total cost? My full profit? My report margin? My margin of this specific machine when it's fully loaded, and some of these different attributes. So this is very flexible. Again, I can deep dive further into these machines and make some modifications to it. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about the bill of materials. So based on the attributes that of the request, ImpactECS said, okay, you need this bill of material, right? So I picked out, here's the part type, it's a film, it's a special, it's in the part category of a PE film, this is the part number, this is the part description, and you know, for example, let's say this part is not available right now from this specific vendor, so I might need to override it if I want need to. But here's, if it's available, then here's some attribute data that comes with it, all right? Here's the basis weight, the width, the cost per pound that I have specifically for this location I need to get it to, my raw percent, my estimated usage, etc. Everything that you would expect from a bill of material enterprise class system, right? Also, what's pretty unique here, I can just add a bunch of bill of materials if it's a very special order and say, okay, this is pretty much, you know, 90% it covers the cost, but I need to add another material or another laminator. I can do this here as well, very dynamically, and they do not need to exist in your currently existing transactional system, right? So what it gets down to is, here's my machine cost summary details, and I have a couple things that I calculate when I talk about machine cost. For example, what is my setup cost that I have? What is my full capacity? If I'm on full capacity, what are my costs? If I'm not on full capacity, what are my costs? Right, so these are all these things I need to consider when quoting new business. Then I have some material cost details that I have. How much do I need? How much do I need when I run it fully loaded, meaning maybe 6,000 per month instead of 1,000 per month. And here's just some other cost summaries that I see. Here's a little summary based on here's my cost of materials, here's my conversion cost, here are my additional expenses that I have that are allocated, such as overhead and expenses or selling expenses. And I'll also have some statistics around, here's my dimensions, such as pounds, foot, 1,000 square foot, et cetera, right? And here's my pricing summary, and here's where it gets interesting. So my price based on, if I could produce 1,000 of them, 1,000 pounds of them, my costs are going to be $4.41, and that would give me, and this is the target margin that I am given to have at this particular quantity break. Therefore, this should be my price, right? And at my quantity break of 3,000 pounds, here's my cost that I calculated, and here's my guideline in terms of margin that I would like to have. Now, what is very important, if you have a system like ImpactECS, what this enables you to do is we set target margins. You say, okay, well, I'm expecting right now to make 20% of a margin, but really for this customer, strategically, I'm making a decision to fill up my line and run it more full capacity. Therefore, I am fine with taking maybe 18% of a margin, right? And if I do that, I can simply modify it here, recalculate it right here in that object, and then I would see, okay, this is the target price that I'm expecting. I can quote to the customer. Right. Now, we have about 3 minutes left, so I've been the one doing talking. I am reaching out. Stacy, are there any questions that come by? Anybody who wants to join, or should I just kind of keep going?
No, why don't you just go ahead and hang in? We don't have any questions, so you can go ahead and wrap up.
No questions. All right, awesome. So a couple of other things I would like to add before we wrap up is this is the cost-based quoting process that we showed you at the very beginning from the slides, and this might or might not reflect exactly how your process works, which Impact is very flexible of handling. But I can only recommend your quoting process does not stop here. Once you quote it to a customer, you should have a profitability system in place. That's the webcast we talked about last week of really figure out, okay, well, I quoted this business at the price of $4.81 per pound. However, what is my actual cost? How do my actual costs compare to that now, right? And that really requires a system that has all this data from end to end, from when you quote the customer, when you establish your bill of material, and when you start creating work orders or work orders on your shop floor level, and then running these products to deliver to your customer, right? And to have a system in place that then goes to the analytical capabilities of this, what we call quote to actual process, is very, very crucial, especially in today's environment where cost can really be your competitive advantage in this highly volatile market. Having said that, I would like to thank you guys for being part of this 30-minute interactive demo and webcast today. I would love to talk to you about costing, about profitability, about your cost-based quoting process, right? Check out our website, email me directly, hit me up on LinkedIn. We are excited to speak to you and talk to you challenges and tell you all about how our customers have solved these challenges with ImpactECS. On that note, I appreciate it, guys, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you.